Hello, my digital art students and photographers. Mr. Hendrick here again. Just kind of going through some other photos I took. My wife is cooking a delicious corned beef right now, and while she wasn't in the kitchen, I looked at all the spices she had out, and I thought it might make a cool photo. So instead of taking it as is, I decided to kind of group them together and maybe try to make a composition out of the spices that are used to make a delicious corned beef. So as you can see, I'm going to show you three versions of the same photo, and it's something I want you to think about too. Before you take a picture, or maybe after you take a picture, maybe change some things up. Maybe think about where things lie on the page and or lie within the frame, and how you can make it better, how you can improve upon it, and what have you. So, without further ado, here we go. All right. So in this first photo, you might notice that there's a lot of spices. Some might even say too many. So that's one thing. Those are all the spices that we used, or she used, and I realized that it looks too crowded, too cluttered, so much going on. I also left the knife in there. I left some cabbage. There's actually a little piece of paper towel in the frame as well. These are unnecessary things. It kind of takes away from, I think, the main point of it. Also, if you notice in the very top left of the photo, there's a little bit of, we have this hanging fruit basket, and just a tiny corner of that is sticking in the photo. Really kind of takes your eye away from it. It serves no purpose being in there. So I took this first photo after I staged everything, and I said, you know what, maybe I can make it a little bit better. So once I realized that, I said, okay, let me just declutter, get some stuff out of the way, and retake it. So I just kind of zoomed in on the other, just the main spices. I took the knife out, I took the cabbage away, I took the paper towel away. I made sure that the hanging fruit basket was not in the frame. And I like it, but I still think it's too crowded. I mean, we get it. There's a lot of spices there, but everything's kind of morphing together, and especially knowing that the end game is creating a digital illustration using Adobe Sketch or Adobe Draw out of it, I thought maybe it's too many things to be focusing on. That being said, it's not a terrible photo in my opinion. One thing I do notice too, I did leave a little tiny piece of cabbage on the counter, so that'd be easily airbrushed out using Photoshop Express easily enough if I want to use that photo. However, I said to myself, you know what if we just really streamline this image here and just focus on maybe 5 or so objects. So again, if you remember from our review from when we did the photography unit back in the fall, rule of odds, the idea that an odd number of objects is more interesting than an even number of objects. So I made sure I left only 5 objects in instead of 4 or 6. Likewise, rule of thirds, right? So if I broke this photo down into a grid with 3 by 3 quadrants, one of the focal points will be right smack dab in one of those intersections, and the black peppercorns are in that section. Lastly, I tried to eliminate everything else, but I did still happen to leave a little bit of cabbage on the counter, something very easily omitted when I bring it into Photoshop Express. Alright, so those are 3 images of really the same idea, the same topic, the same subject matter. Just each one I tried to improve upon it just by taking a minute, not even a minute, 30 seconds to look at it, think about it, and change it up. Alright, so that's something I want you to think about too. Okay, so again, just as a reminder, for this project, I want you to look around at your life, at your daily activities. What's going on in your life that you can photograph that seems interesting to you? It could be something you're doing, something you're seeing. Maybe you take your dog for a walk and you see something interesting. Maybe it's a picture of your dog. Maybe it's a family member doing something at home. Maybe your siblings are playing. Maybe they're fighting. Who knows? How do you want to document this whole experience? We're looking for 3 to 5 pictures by Friday. Unedited, you don't have to go crazy. I'd rather see them, the raw photos first, and I can give you some notes on it and see how we can maybe improve it or change it using Photoshop Express. So 3 to 5 images in a PDF posted to the harbor by Friday. Alright, happy photoing. This is Hendrick signing off. Recap for this unit. Part 1, Digital Photography. Document your experience during the social distancing by taking photos of your experiences or things you observe. more photos you take, the more you'll have to work with. Think about the composition. Post your favorite 3 to 5 photos into a PDF using Keynote or another app, and submit one document to the Harbor with your photos. This is due Friday. Email Mr. Hendrick if you have any questions, problems, or concerns. My email is jhendrick@zavariant.org.